I can introduce you to my lunch buddy because I've never been a counselor yet, but my lunch buddy was also my forest walk buddy. Her name is Brinley. She, in the beginning, so like I was rec crew and like so I had like kids all around me. She kind of just like came up to me and started just like asking me questions like, "Can I get her water?" And I was like, "Sure." We walked to the water station, and then we found out that she was my forest walk buddy, and then she kind of just like came out her box a little bit more, and then in lunch buddies we just kind of like bonded. I don't know.
I think before you could even express that to a kid, you have to be willing to do it yourself. You have to realize that it's progress before perfection, and that it's not just you can't teach them that it's just easy. Show what you preach, basically.
Just basically what Jazz says, you just gotta set an example for them, and they'll pretty much just follow you. They're little kids. They'll do what you do.
I learned seeing kids that came not broken, but their spirit was a little bit shut off. So to see them by the end of the week and to see that they're open and they're free to do what they want, although it's hard watching them leave and all the crying, it's like you know that they're going home with more love than what they came with. You're pouring back into the love that we're given every day from God into those kids. So it's always great to see that.
I think, again, Jazz is just like preaching, but my experience at OpCamp, because like last year was my first year like ever working before I went from 3rd grade to when we couldn't go anymore as a camper. But I think my first ever year, I was really, really nervous. Like I didn't know what to expect. I think I was almost in tears on the bus because I just didn't know what to expect. I was really shy. I didn't really talk to anybody, but my counselors weren't even from Sweetwater. So it was a really good experience. I mean, by like the 2nd day, I was dancing at the things. I was having so much fun, and then I didn't want to go home. Like OpCamp was like my second home. That's kind of what it felt like. I felt more at home at the time than I did at my actual home, which that's the experience you want to make for those kids too, because you don't know what they're going through.
It would be watching the kids go home and not crying in front of them because they're like, oh no, y'all don't cry. You're gonna make them cry worse. But oh goodness, and it's just like no matter how much we prepare for OpCamp, we never like when we give it our all. It's like by the end of that week that you've given it your all, it's hard to stay energized. Like you lose your voice, everything. Like sometimes your kids, they don't want to get out the bed, they want to sleep in. It's like, come on guys, we got like these couple of days. So it's just like, and it's also hard getting the kids in track. Like, you know, like, cause some of them, they bedtime,
They bad.
pull. It's just like, by the end of the week, you're exhausted. So it's very hard being able to give it 100% when you gave it 100% for the whole week. So,
I think my hardest part is just watching them leave and then seeing their faces, all the tears run down their face. It just makes me tear up every time because that's when you know like you did a good job. Like it all the tiredness, your voice scratching, your throat hurting, you can barely open your eyes. It's all worth it when you see them crying when they're leaving, because then you know like they don't want to go home. They feel at home with like they feel safe with you, kind of. That's kind of like how you feel. That's probably the hardest part. I haven't experienced.
Last year I struggled pretty hard with my faith. It was like I was going through roads of, okay, we're good, I'm going back up there, and then I just go down the hill of just like, okay, it's whatever. But seeing those kids and seeing their faith makes my faith even stronger. Seeing what I can do as a person to pour into a kid who came to me, who believes that I'm like the greatest thing in the world. Like, it's an indescribable feeling. You will never, it's like a feeling of joy, but then it's like a feeling of sadness. It's like you can't describe it. It's both of them. But just knowing that you can come to a place, no electronics, no nothing. You're there for the kids and you're there for the Lord. By the time you leave, you don't want to leave. So yeah.
Definitely agree with Jazz. I think it's an opportunity, because I know I struggle with my faith partially because, like, I lose track of time a lot, so, like, I'm up really late and then, like, oh, I don't want to get up for church in the morning. That's definitely my problem, but that week in the summer is just, like, it's eye-opening. Like, this is what I'm here for. Like, this is what I wake up for at 8 in the morning. It's definitely it's pretty eye-opening. Just see that me being there, putting on a show, putting my faith in there brings them, like, their faith just grows, and you can see it. Like, some of the kids don't even know who Jesus is, or they don't know who he is. They've never been in that, and just using your faith to pour into them for their faith to grow even higher is just something that, like, everybody needs to experience. It's just, like Jess says, it's an unexplainable experience, seeing the kids when watching their faith grow, and it's definitely needed if you can feel your faith fading away.
So I guess one of the campers I had this past summer was Braxton. And he was pretty awesome, right? He was really energetic sometimes, and and then he'd get real tired. So it was just kind of a roller coaster of emotions all week. But at the end of the week, we ended up having a lot of fun. I think he really opened up to me and to everybody around him. I know Miss Stephanie's worked really hard to get him to where he's at, and so he was my camper this past summer, and so it was a lot of fun being able to be around him.
I had Miracle this year as my lunch buddy. I've gotten to see her grow up with her family, and she was in my cabin at base camp, so that's when she first kind of started opening up to me. And this year we've just grown a great relationship. We get to share a connection through sports and a whole bunch of fun things, so I've really enjoyed having her as my lunch buddy.
So I think a big thing in Sweetwater is hope, right? A lot of the kids that we work with and a lot of the kids that get sent our way don't have a whole lot of hope. And it's not really something that I think we can blame them for. I think that it's something that, it's burdens that are placed upon them. And so there's a lot of kids that feel stuck in Sweetwater. I know that a lot of even my friends feel like they're stuck in Sweetwater and like there's not really a way out. And so hope, and something past Sweetwater, something more, something greater, of fulfillment and contentment with their life and security, I think is something that we've been able to instill in them through the curriculum.
I think the best way to show love to your kids is by showing up for them and showing them that you really care. Me and Brody have gone to our kids' basketball games and baseball games, just showing up and proving to them that you really do care, that you're not just doing it because you signed up.
I think being able to set an example for the kids, right, teaches you a lot about maybe how you should be better, right? Like there's certain things, right? Like you're telling the kids to make their bed, shower, clean their dirty clothes, and it sounds simple and cliche, but ultimately, whenever you're coaching other people, I think to be better at what they're doing and trying to help them be better, I think that it can open your eyes to what you're doing and how you can possibly be better. And so I think that that's helped me a lot personally grow in my faith, is by helping coach those kids and show them, what I know, but also maybe what I don't know. And so it's helped me grow a lot that way.
I've really enjoyed getting to see how kids grow over the years and how like their lives really are changed through OpCamp. It also shows me, like, by being with campers all week, how difficult we can be sometimes. And so it helps me realize, like, when my parents are trying to get me to do stuff, like, it makes me understand why it sometimes. But I love making relationships with the kids. That's probably my favorite part.
Probably the hardest part about OpCamp is just like the physical exertion, I guess, right? It's a lack of sleep. Mentally, it's really exhausting, right? You're kind of pouring out every ounce that you have, right? Every bit of effort, every bit of heart into these kids to maybe try and make a difference. You might make a difference in them, you might not. But I think ultimately it's really fulfilling being able to pour yourself out and give in to other people and help feed other people to be closer to God.
I would definitely agree with Brody. It's really hard just doing all that all week because you are giving yourself for the kids, not doing it for yourself. So enjoying it for yourself sometimes is hard because you're not getting as much sleep as you normally do. It's very physically exerting. And just being able to give them that full energy throughout the whole week so that they can have a great time, because that's truly what it's about.
So my Forest Walk buddy has been my buddy for the past 2 years. Her name is Myasia. And when I first met Myasia, she was very shy, like wasn't super into the lesson or anything like that. And I really had to break down that wall with her within my first week of Opportunity Camp. But I got the opportunity to be her Forest Walk buddy again my second year, and I just really saw a lot of growth in her. She was asking questions, she was excited about what we were learning, she was interested, and that was just really cool to see that I had made an impact on her life and that she had gone home and really grown in her faith and everything.
Okay, my Forest Walk buddy, Audrey, I am going to have her for a 3rd year this year. And I had a very similar experience with my Forest Walk buddy as Meredith did. I feel like the first year, without like building that relationship, they're very shy, not super open, and you kind of have to break down that wall. And so then getting to have her my second year at OpCamp was really a blessing, and I got to see a lot of her growth. And she was making connections after connections. She was really showing her faith had grown and her knowledge in God, and it was really beautiful to see. So
I like to look at the curriculum and then really think about, okay, how does this relate to my life and how could I relate it to my buddy's life? So when you're talking about love, usually love you associate with family or your friends or with God. So it's really helpful to just ask questions like, okay, tell me about what love looks like in your family or in your life, or how do you show love to your friends? How do you show love to your sisters? How do you show love throughout your everyday life? So it's just helpful to really make those connections of, okay, how can I put this and implement it into everyday life so they're able to engage and just really understand the concept of what you're talking about.
I feel like as far as the curriculum goes, right, I try to teach love to all of my campers at OpCamp just by kind of just giving an example. So I feel like, treating your co-counselor with love, treating them with love, obviously, and kind of like going off of what Meredith said is like, just seeing what love looks like for them. And sometimes they don't really know what that looks like. And so we get the opportunity to really show them what love looks like. And so getting to do that is really important. I feel like, just being there for them, asking them questions, giving them your undivided attention, advice. You don't even have to give them advice, but just being a listening ear just really shows love. And then the Forest Walk buddy, that really helps teach them about God's love, and that's really important.
So I've been going to OpCamp for quite a while, and I think from like a very early age, just like going and hanging out with the little kids, even though I wasn't like allowed to have a role in OpCamp yet, I was just like, it was so much fun. And then when I finally got to do rec crew and become a counselor, it was just like a whole new world being opened up, and it was just like seeing my faith just like blossom. I don't know, like blossom like a flower. It's awesome. The kids were the best part because they love you either way, and that's just the best part is the kids.
So working with these kids really just taught me that not to take my faith life and my walk with Christ for granted, because being born in the church here at Fourth and Elm, since the day I was born, I'm pretty sure, it's all I know. And we come to church on Sundays, we come to church on Wednesdays, we do all the extra things in between, summer camps and everything. It's really just taught me and opened my eyes that not everyone has been as blessed as I have when it comes to that. There's a lot of kids out there that they don't even really know who Jesus is, and it's just kind of changed the way that I view faith, and OpCamp has also given me like the opportunity to see the hard spaces in the world, and it's kind of made me a stronger Christian, and how to lead these kids, and giving me just an opportunity to share my walk with Christ, which is what we're called to do, and it's just that's what we're there for.
So this year I got to meet Ricardo. He's my lunch buddy. He's just really kind-hearted and sweet. I got to go see his basketball games this year. He plays basketball and baseball. He loves to kind of go play and meet with other kids. It's just really great to kind of get to know him over the year, and kind of see how he goes from thing to thing, like see his favorite subject, how he likes his, he always has some kind of test in school, and I'm like, oh, well, how did that go? And it's always a different response, but you can tell he's always trying. I like that. You can see he's doing his best in whatever he's doing, so.
I just what I do is I just go around and be joyful all the time, and like when I see someone having a bad day, I go talk to them and stuff, make it feel better.
Yeah, I think a lot of it during OpCamp is relationship. That's the story of how Jesus helped people. He built relationship, and that's the story of OpCamp. You're not gonna have an impact on anybody if you don't know them. So that's the biggest thing, is meeting these kids and kind of connecting with them to a point where they can help see themselves in you, and they want to do better because they want them to do better. So yeah,
meet people I really looked up to.
I liked how I met a lot of new people since it was my first year, and it was a great experience.
Probably saying goodbye as a camper and as a counselor, saying goodbye to the kids, people I looked up to.
I was in rec crew, so my hardest time was rec time. I just had to braid a lot of people's hair. Too many to count.
It gave me somebody to look up to besides my mom, like a male role model in Mr. Billy and Tristan, just people I could look up to and love.
Mine gave me a different way of thinking. Just little things in my life can be big things in their life, and I never realized that until I went and talked with my Forest Walk buddy, and just realized that the little things in their life can make a huge difference. And I knew that OpCamp made a huge difference, and it made a huge difference in me too.
I loved most watching those kids kind of come out of their shell and really kind of click with the counselors and click with each other, as well as being able to learn more about Christ and who he is, and that he does love them. Just pouring out this love that I didn't know that I had for these kids, and being able to experience that with them. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but just, throughout the week, you grow close with these kids that you've never even met before, in my experience. And so these kids come from, a lot of times, a difficult background, and them knowing that they're safe and comfortable, and us being able to show them the love of Christ is super impactful.